Hello everybody. Today I want to talk about Piccolo's top 7 fights of all time. Piccolo has arguably had some of, if not the best fights in Dragon Ball history, in the entire franchise, from beginning to currently where we are right now in the manga, and especially in the anime. Let's kick this bad boy off. But first, before we get to number 7, I have a little honorable mention. Piccolo versus Frost, in my opinion, was a decent fight for what it was. It did not make this list because it wasn't a very long fight, and it didn't really have much of a conclusion, and it really didn't put over Piccolo as much as it really needed to. I think they were really trying to get over Frost's cheating ways more than put our boy Piccolo over and get him some shine in this new anime that in my opinion, desperately needed at this point in the story. It was a good fight for what it was. It was one of, in my opinion, the better short fights in Dragon Ball Super thus far. Like, it wasn't very long. It was half a chapter in the manga. It was maybe an episode in the anime. And the whole time, Goku, Frost, even maybe Vegeta, Beerus, Champa, Vados, they were all talking down to Piccolo. They were all looking down upon him. That was one of my biggest problems with this fight. Piccolo blatantly asks Goku if he stands a chance against Frost, and Goku says, "Not a chance. No way, Jose." And in my opinion, he shouldn't look down on Piccolo like that. He was at one time your greatest rival. Piccolo is one of the few characters that has not stopped training, has not retired like Krillin or Yamcha. Piccolo is still fighting. Piccolo is he's still pretty young. He's a little older than Gohan. So he's still got a lot of years left, and he's in the Namekian. He's in the prime of his life. At any point, if the story wanted to, they could push him further. But this match did not push Piccolo further. But his fight with Frost was entertaining, and that's why I wanted to mention it. In the manga, he mentions, "I am no Namekian. I am the reincarnation of Demon King Piccolo," and that was pretty sick. And in the anime, he does the little special beam cannon dance around thing with the shadow clones, which were pretty cool. It didn't seem like his regular multi-form technique. It seemed different. It seemed like almost illusions, as he was using strategy over power to beat Frost. And I honestly believe that if Frost did not cheat, Piccolo would have won this battle. And I don't think Vegeta needed it. If they had given Piccolo the win here, this fight probably would be midway up this list, to be honest. But it is not, and it is an honorable mention. So, without further ado, number 7, Dr. Gero versus Piccolo. So this fight is actually one I completely didn't necessarily forget about, but it was the last one I could think about. And that's why I'm putting it at number 7. It was a good fight. It is technically a win for Piccolo, and it was a good moment. It was before Piccolo fused with Kami. It was a really good way of showing the fans that Saiyans aren't the only characters that matter here. Because up until this point, Goku and Vegeta were the only two to really get some shine. And Yamcha got a hole blown through his chest by this guy effortlessly. And the fact that Piccolo was able to stomp Android 20 or Dr. Gero pretty much without any help from the gang was pretty awesome. And it was a pretty fun fight. Piccolo was in control of this fight. And like I said earlier, Piccolo won this fight basically due to forfeit, because Dr. Gero ran away, and I consider this a win for Piccolo. Piccolo doesn't always get an official win, and I consider this one a total win Piccolo had a lot of good fights in this saga. The Cell Saga, the Android arc. And this was one of them. And I enjoyed it. I think that Dr. Gero and Android 19 were definitely, they're definitely characters that people don't bring up enough. But they were super unique and actually pretty scary. So seeing these two go one-on-one was pretty fun. And it's always a fun thing to do in video games and whatnot. Seeing him cut off Dr. Gero's hand was pretty dope. So yeah, number 7 is Dr. Gero versus Piccolo. Number 6, Nappa versus Piccolo. And the only reason this fight is so low on the list is because it really wasn't necessarily a one-on-one fight for Piccolo. It was more of a group fight. Nappa was basically taking on the gambit of Z fighters. And Krillin, Gohan, and Piccolo really worked together against Nappa, and Tien was there for a good chunk of the time. That's the only reason one of the biggest moments in the entire series, in the entire Dragon Ball series, Piccolo sacrificing his life for Gohan was essentially the climax of this battle between Piccolo and Nappa. And not only that, there's a part where Nappa literally elbows Piccolo right on the noggin, and it's very memorable. I can see it vividly in my head, and I haven't really watched this saga in a while. I need to go back and watch some more of it. It's a fantastic saga. It's one of my favorites, and really the pinnacle of Dragon Ball storytelling. And Nappa, highly underrated villain, and going through every character. Piccolo, essentially our number 2 babyface in this time in Dragon Ball, and really cementing the fact that he is now a babyface by saving Gohan. Big moment, epic sacrifice, and at the time we thought, because when Piccolo died, Dragon Balls are gone. We had no idea there was going to be Namekian Dragon Balls yet. So it was very touching. They could have went a certain way with the writing here, and it could have been the end of Piccolo, Tien, Yamcha, and Chiaotzu if they decided no more Dragon Balls, that's it. Could you believe if that shit went down? But no, this was just the very beginning of Piccolo's babyface turn. Number 5, Piccolo versus Frieza. Now this fight was very interesting, and it was actually something that really set Piccolo up as the strongest good guy in the franchise at the time. The first time, not the only time, but the first time Piccolo, a Namekian, was the strongest character on the good guy side, the strongest babyface for a short period of time until Goku got out of the healing pod he was in. So that's a big moment. Not only that, is Piccolo is basically the only character, Piccolo and a little bit of Gohan, to fight Frieza in his third form, one of the coolest looking forms in Dragon Ball Z. That was cool, and that's another memorable moment I could see in my head, is Frieza doing those little finger beams, death beams, whatever you want to call them, and hitting Piccolo multiple times, and almost killing him. Seeing Gohan rage boost to save his mentor. It was fantastic. I mean, and it went on for a while. We got to see Piccolo fuse with Nail. We learned some things about his people. We got to see Piccolo fight for the first time on Planet Namek. I mean, arguably, Piccolo's story is one of the best written stories in the entire series. Hands down. And this was a momentous moment for his character. It definitely wasn't the pinnacle of his character, but it was momentous. And him fighting Frieza, arguably one of the best villains in the entire series, and holding his own until he essentially allowed Frieza to transform, was fun. I mean, Frieza was there, and he was well beyond Vegeta, well beyond Krillin, well beyond Gohan, even combined in power. And Piccolo comes in, and he's like, "Hey, bud, I'm over 1 million power level as well, and we're gonna fight. We're gonna throw hands," and they do, and it's fantastic. And Frieza almost kills him. Number 4, could be a controversial pick, but this is something I personally love. One of my favorite fights in the entire franchise. Piccolo versus Krillin. If you have not seen this fight, if you've never watched Dragon Ball, and if you never plan to watch Dragon Ball, please go on YouTube, go on the internets, watch Piccolo versus Krillin. It is the ultimate storytelling fight. It got Krillin over, the man who loses this fight. Also, Piccolo gets a dominant win here, but at the same time, he puts over Krillin as a badass. He puts over Krillin as the number 3 babyface at the time. And it was a wonderful tournament fight that didn't go too far, but it also made us realize how far Krillin has come since he was killed by Tambourine. And also showed how in control Piccolo was. But at the same time, he underestimates Krillin in this fight. This is arguably one of Krillin's best fights in the entire series. It's just Piccolo's had so many big fights. I could not, in good conscience, rank this bad boy up a little higher. Personally, I would put this guy up even higher. It's such a good fight. It's well animated. It's well told. It's basically the exact same thing off the page from the manga, but it's extended in the anime, and it's great. I feel it really does wonders for both Piccolo's character and Krillin's character. Please do yourself a favor and go back and watch this fight. I cannot rave about it more. Number 3, Piccolo versus Raditz. You could say Goku and Piccolo versus Raditz. One of the very first fights us American watchers ever got to see of the Dragon Ball franchise. Piccolo versus Raditz was very special because it was really the beginning of Piccolo's babyface turn. Yes, he was only working with Goku in this fight because he realized he was not strong enough on his own to defeat Raditz, and he himself wanted to take over the Earth. And he realized he could not do that with a man like Raditz. It would have been interesting if he decided to try to side with Raditz, but that's not what Piccolo is. Piccolo is a lone wolf, at least at this time. He would rather team up with his enemy. His enemy is now his ally, and Goku. And also, this, in my opinion, was much more exciting, seeing Goku and Piccolo teaming up for the very first time. 2 mortal enemies. It's pretty fantastic. And then once you go back and watch OG Dragon Ball and realize their true history, their true rivalry, you really appreciate this team up. This fight was very fun and highly underrated because it was so early in the series, and people like to compare Raditz to being the Yamcha of Nappa, Vegeta, and Raditz. But I can't see that. Raditz was stronger than Goku and Piccolo combined. Raditz was one of the strongest characters we'd ever seen. He really tipped the scales on villains in power levels. He debuted what a power level could be, what it is. He debuted the Scouter. He debuted the Saiyan or Frieza Force armor. Raditz was a big deal. And the fact that he is also Goku's brother is insane. And another big reason why this fight is the number 3 in this list of Piccolo's top 7 fights is the fact that Piccolo kills Raditz, the main antagonist at the time, and he also kills Goku, our main protagonist, the main man, Goku, who we just learned is an alien. And he kills both these men at the same time using the special beam cannon, one of, if not the greatest moves in the entire series. The special beam cannon is fantastic. I mean, it's a beautiful move. Piccolo especially designed this move to kill Goku. And you know what he did? He used it to kill Goku. Yes, Goku was a willing participant in this death, but he still killed our main protagonist. That is insane. I mean, if Piccolo really wanted to after that, he could have attempted to take over the Earth. It would have been a foolish move, but he could have. He killed Goku. How many people can say they killed Goku? Him and Cell. That's about it. That's a fantastic. People look down on Piccolo way too much. This fight was very good. It was a good combination of hand-to-hand combat and large ki blast type moves. A very good balance of the two. One I wish they kept and did more with later on in the series. This fight was fun. And like I said, the special beam cannon is a special move in my heart. I really enjoy that. And that is why it's the number 3 spot. That's simply it. I mean, we also get to see Piccolo get his arm ripped off, and then he grows a new one. That was cool. I mean, this fight really had to set the bar for the future of the Dragon Ball franchise here in America, because we really didn't know much about Dragon Ball yet. From this fight alone, we realized that Piccolo and Goku have a rivalry going on. We realize so much. They teach us so much about Dragon Ball, even though we haven't even seen that series yet. Just through this one fight, we now know what we have coming ahead from after this battle, this bout, this amazing 2-on-1 fight, which also is a victory for Piccolo, which, like I said, is fantastic to see him getting some wins here. All right, our number 2 is Piccolo versus Goku. Yes, you knew this match would be in this list. If you have not seen Piccolo versus Goku from OG Dragon Ball, the last fight from OG Dragon Ball, you are missing out, and you should turn off this video and go and watch it right now on YouTube if it's available, or go buy it on Amazon, the DVD, and watch it. Whatever you got to do to watch this fight. Piccolo versus Goku was fantastic. It was a pretty long fight in the anime and in the manga, but not so long that it felt like a drag. It was one of the best tournament fights of all time. Not just in Dragon Ball, just of all time. It had a really good balance of kung fu movie style fighting, and also including a lot of new maneuvers that Goku has been working on, and Piccolo. Piccolo grew to a giant form, and Goku went inside him to retrieve Kami. That was pretty cool. That was a Toriyama thing that he definitely was excited to do. This fight was fun. I mean, Goku could have had his buddies, Tien, Krillin, Yamcha, jump in and help him with the fight once they realized that Piccolo was not there to win the tournament. He was there to kill Goku. But Goku didn't want that to happen, because Goku wanted to win a World Martial Arts Tournament. He came close 2 years in a row, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't get the job done both times. He lost to Jackie Chun. He lost to Tien. Now it's Piccolo. And this fight really showed just how strong Piccolo is, what kind of a tank this man is, and how sadistic this guy was before he gets a little bit of a change of heart later on in the series. Fight in OG Dragon Ball. I mean, it's so good. It's well animated, well drawn, well choreographed. It's fantastic. I can't say enough about this battle, and that's why it's my number 2 on this list. And you're probably asking yourself, Mr. Morfetto, how is Goku versus Piccolo only the number 2? Why isn't it number 1? Because our number 1 pick for the top 7 fights of all time in Piccolo's repertoire is Piccolo versus Android 17. That's right. And if you couldn't have guessed that, you're crazy, because this fight is fantastic and could be easily said to be the best fight in the entire franchise in Dragon Ball, in Dragon Ball GT, in Dragon Ball Super, in Dragon Ball Z. This fight was better than it had any right to be. It didn't need to be this good. Piccolo at this time was now the strongest Z fighter, the strongest man on the babyface team, on the good guy team. Piccolo was the man during this fight. He just got done beating up on Cell, bringing the heat, and now he's going head to head with Android 17, the man who destroyed Trunks' future along with his sister Android 18, the man we thought was going to be the main antagonist until Cell arrived. And Piccolo's in there throwing hands. These two are on an equal playing field, to say the least. These two put on a show. This was the perfect balance of hand-to-hand combat and super cool Ki Blast energy moves, and also the debut of the Hell Zone grenade, which is one of the most iconic techniques in all of Dragon Ball Z, especially in the Cell Saga. Probably the biggest attack from the Cell Saga. The most exciting, innovative, because it was just a lot of Ki Blast that he brought together, and then Android 17 pulling out the shield, the energy barrier, was a fantastic move. And to be honest, this fight could have went either way. I don't call it a loss for Piccolo because it was interrupted by Cell. And I mean, when Cell shows up, Piccolo throws out the light grenade, and that move alone probably could have eviscerated Android 17 if he was able to get it off. Yes, Piccolo was running out of stamina, but he still had that bad boy in his back pocket, ready to launch it, and I have a feeling he was saving it to obliterate 17 if he had to. But I have a feeling also that was his last trump card, that badass move, which was very simple but satisfying, the light grenade, and is usually his number one finisher in any video game. That alone, I mean, this fight, Piccolo versus Android 17, is fantastic, and I'm sure you've all seen it. If you've gotten this far into this list and you haven't seen this fight, what are you doing here? You tell me in the comments what you're doing here if you haven't seen Android 17 versus Piccolo. This fight, it's so good, hands down. Top 3 fights in the entire franchise, if not number 1. So good. So many elements, so many things going on at the time in the series, and the fact that Piccolo is our number 1 guy, oh man, it was beautiful. I mean, the only thing I would have changed in this part of the series is I would have let Piccolo die when Cell blew a hole in his chest and threw him in the water, because then it would have been more, I guess that part of it been more memorable. But it doesn't matter, just a little tidbit. Something I would have changed. No big deal. But yes, this is our number 1 fight in Piccolo's history. Android 17, you are great. And Piccolo is greater. And that's the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. What did you think of my Mr. Morfetto's list of top 7 fights for Piccolo? Please like, comment, and share. It really helps me out here on the YouTubes. If you could just please like and tell your friends about Mr. Morfetto, that would be very helpful. I will talk to you later.